Welcome to Synthetic Oil Protection. I am your host, Eben, and today we're here with Ricky L. Towers. We're going to be telling Ricky's Las Vegas story. We're in the 59 Cadillac. We're at Pete's Coffee, and today's going to be exciting. Over the next 40 minutes, you're going to see Ricky and I cruising Las Vegas. All the nooks and crannies. We're headed downtown Las Vegas. We're going to hear Ricky's story, and hey, you might see a little magic. So much fun. How did we even meet Ricky? I forgot.
We met at the La Bella French bakery on West Sahara. Great spot for coffee, pastries, breakfast. Walked in and there you were doing your magic tricks with your cards. Entertaining people in the coffee shop. And I just thought it was fascinating, some of the card tricks you were doing and some of the interesting moves you were making with coins and entertaining people that was at the French bakery that morning 5 years ago, at least 5 years ago.
I love it.
Here we are 5 years later. We're in the 59 Cadillac. We did some pre-recording in June and said we'd come back and talk about Vegas from my perspective and what I've been able to view as a resort destination of the world.
And we're
the entire world.
And we're going to be talking about Ricky's accomplishments over the year. Now, Ricky looks like a normal guy, but he's not. And I can personally say that after doing close-up magic on Fremont Street in Las Vegas for 2.5 years. I did it for about 30,000 people on a one-on-one level. So these random people from France, Italy, Spain, New Zealand, Canada, Mexico, Venezuela, Brazil, they all come here. They end up here somehow. Ricky sees them and touches them every day. And it's so cool to learn that and learn people. And then when I met Ricky, this is after I had that experience, I found out how special Ricky was. And that's why we had to have him on the channel and, just talk about life and what makes you get up in the morning, what makes you get a cup of coffee, why Ricky's someone that doesn't have to work anymore, why he still goes to work. We're going to have to answer that question.
It's an interesting comment.
Yeah. I mean, what makes you get up in the morning? It's interesting.
Well, Vegas is good weather, good food, good environment, and it's hot. And if you want to get up like we are, 8 o'clock in the morning, weather's perfect.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's sitting out, enjoying it. That's one of the luxuries of Vegas.
Tell me about it.
The climate and the hospitality. Just so many people that just love to just sit out and talk about everything that interests them. So, thanks, Eben.
Yeah.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, it's great.
Hey, yeah, it's been a while. Look forward to doing some short recording and getting ready for the YouTube channel, talking about the history of Vegas. A lot of things that's occurred over my 66 years growing up in the inner city in Vegas. When it was bustling with people, gaming, food, beverage, entertainment. Imagine that in the inner city in the 60s.
So I'm a big fan of Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Mel Torme, and all these wonderful singers, and Sammy D. And Sammy was such a special character, and I loved listening to Frank on Sammy, on how Frank just couldn't let him go. He had to be a part of the team, and someone with that much skill, no matter what, had to be shown. And I love the heart behind that. And I tell people the truth, in life it has nothing to do with the money, it has to do with the heart. If you think about anybody that became successful and made a lot of money, they had a heart before they got the money.
Absolutely.
It wasn't the money that made them good.
Absolutely. And they're inspired to do their craft.
Yeah. And it's so cool to see Frank with his heart, his passion, and that's what I always get from Ricky, and that's why it's so cool to hang out with him. Is it's nostalgia. Ricky's has so much experience, and just so lucky.
One of the greatest photographs I've ever seen was Sammy, Frank, Peter Lawford, and Joey Bishop.
Wow.
One of the greatest photos I've ever seen.
Wow.
I mean, I'd love to do anything to be in that photo with the four of them.
Wow.
Maybe we could get that photo and we could do some Photoshop.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I mean, Sammy and all those guys were just they filled the showrooms.
Oh my gosh.
The dinner shows. They weren't cocktail shows. They were dinner shows. Imagine that. With the maitre d' at the front door and just the class, the tuxedos. So fortunate to see that even as a kid, you know. Yeah.
Who is the very first singer you ever saw?
The very first singer
you've ever seen live? Would you say?
I would say the very first singer that I ever saw in Vegas would have to be I want to say, for me, it was Wayne Newton.
Wow.
Yeah. Mr. Las Vegas.
Oh my God.
Still around, still kicking.
Unreal.
He performed downtown. He started downtown as a kid. That's where I started, downtown as a kid.
So what was it that made you want to become a dealer? I know we could start with where you grew up. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Highland Square, which is the cross streets of Highland and Owens.
All right.
Probably 15 minutes from downtown.
Wow.
And which made downtown accessible as a kid to walk.
Wow.
So as a kid, when you can walk downtown, it was easy to get the experience of what Vegas was really like back in the day. And your question was, what inspired me to go into the industry?
Yeah.
Well, Vegas was pretty close knit, and honestly, I met some of the important people that were running casinos as a kid.
What was your first introduction to some of these people? And if I'm not mistaken, your parents grew up here too, right?
Our parents were here. My father was here, and my ancestors were here back in the 30s. The 30s, absolutely. Yep. Mac Williams town site, yeah.
Wow.
Yep, that's Mac Williams. And,
so your parents, what type of careers did your parents do back then?
Well, my father was military. My wife was in the hospitality industry.
Wow.
And the military brought my dad here. The titanium.
Just a little louder, Ricky.
Plant.
Just so they can hear you.
Yeah, was here also. So so African Americans were migrating to Las Vegas back in the 30s when the opportunity was available. So it was a great time, because what it created was African Americans had their own infrastructure. They had their own casinos, restaurants. They were excluded from the Strip. So what that did was they had their own economy. That's what I had a chance to see.
Wow.
That's why I knew that gaming was just a jewel in the desert.
Wow.
And it was so interesting how during that time, I'm saying the 60s now, which was when I was growing up in the downtown area, I watched all these people. They didn't run a kid out. When a kid ran in, it'd be a few minutes before they would kick you out.
Oh, wow.
So I had a chance to really see the action, the action, which hasn't changed in 70 years.
Wow.
Think about it. Wow. Table games hasn't changed in 100 years.
So roulette,
blackjack,
no
dice,
limit hold'em.
Yeah, World Series of Poker. Never forget it when Binion started it at the Horseshoe.
So what was your Well, I have a question. Speaking of Benny Binion, who do you think is the most influential person in Las Vegas overall for starting that, lighting that fire, would you say? What is it? Who would you say it was? Because I heard so much about Benny Binion and I never met him. And I know, and I've seen a lot of videos with Steve Wynn. I love Steve Wynn too. I love his speeches. I love how good of a speaker he is. He's a killer.
Well, anytime you say you take on any kind of action, any kind of bets, that was the horseshoe.
Wow.
I mean, you know, most people couldn't walk in and just say, I want to bet X amount of dollars and do it. But at the horseshoe, you could do that.
Wow.
Binion could make the call.
Wow.
You know, so as a kid walking through the horseshoe, walking through the Fremont, walking through the Four Queens, you know, walking through the El Cortez, you know, I had a chance to take a look at just, and then I'd go back to the inner city, and that was the same kind of environment, you know, with table games, people, you know, entertainment. It was just a great way to grow up in Vegas. And so when I became, you know, young adult, I made a decision that I could eventually run one of those places.
I love that. And that's the fire that we were talking about, that you know you can do it. You know, so many people, they think they can do it. Ricky knew he could do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he took on the table games with so much confidence. And, you know, I see different people in all different fields. And when I see Ricky behind the blackjack table at Caesars, and he's so open. He's got this smile, and I call it this. It's a semi-cheesy $1 million smile. It looks like you just won $1 million. and Ricky has that to this day, and to me that's so interesting, because it's not about the money. Ricky, when he was younger, he didn't have any money. Now he makes good money. He's got a great family, but it's still not about the money. He still loves what he does.
That's right.
And he's still so happy doing his career, which to me is such a fascinating element.
But keep in mind, you said a key word. It's all about the family.
Yeah, in the community and helping people.
Absolutely.
Yep.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
You do the work, the money will come.
Yeah.
How do you define success?
It's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you know, some people define it in different areas.
I've always defined it sharing your flutes. I say, if you can share your flutes, and they say, even, is it a flute or a fruit? And I said, flutes. It's half fruit, half flute. Ricky likes my silly comedy. So
well,
I'm always...
you know, my parents were successful in marriage.
Yeah.
And see, that was the common denominator for African Americans in the community, because two-parent families were a key to everybody growing up and understanding that confidence. Confidence is what takes you to the next level. So growing up and walking downtown and leaving the inner city and walking back to downtown, and that whole journey was phenomenal. I mean, it was. And then I met I met the mob. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And everybody loves the mob. Everybody loves.
Yeah. That's not a dirty term.
Yeah.
That's a term that only signifies people that were in the industry.
Yeah.
You know, and we have a mob museum now,
which is
great. And if you want to really see some of that history, you can. But when I had an opportunity to meet, I think one of the greatest casino executives to ever be on the strip.
Who is that?
His name was Al Sachs.
Wow, never heard of him. Wow.
So I took the elevator to the 30th floor. Had a chance to sit down at his desk. Very well groomed, gentleman who was in charge of the Stardust.
Wow.
Fremont, Sundance.
Wow.
Some of the casinos that were here in town. I had the opportunity to speak with him, and the rest is history.
So So he kind of got you inside the
got
books.
me inside. You know, keep your nose clean. Don't take the chips.
Yep.
Don't mess with bosses' wives.
Yep. I like that.
And you know, you can have a phenomenal career.
Yeah, and
so I took that to heat. I took that to heat when he talked to me about that. You know.
And that's, you know, I think Ricky's special because of what I find with Ricky is every time I talk to him, he always remembers everything we talk about and he always listens. And I think that's why Ricky's so well off, is because he always listened to the old timers.
Absolutely.
When he was younger.
Wisdom.
And, yeah.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
You know, I had a lot of old people praying for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, older people. You know, I mean, people that could see a gift in you, could see a talent in you.
Uh-huh.
So, came from a great family, 5 boys. I'm the third boy of 5.
Wow.
It's a message to that. Yeah. In the old movie, across the 110th Street,
Uh-huh.
there's a line in the song that says, you know, I'm the third boy of 5. You know.
That's funny.
You know that. You know, I had a lot on my plate and 2 boys above me and 2 boys below me, so I was always responsible, seems like, for both the ones on the top and then the little ones. So it was a great growing up in Vegas, and we ventured in the downtown area.
Wow.
As brothers, we ventured.
So back when you were younger, you was a little bit of an athlete or something, I think.
Well, I was a consistent individual who wanted to work on my skills.
You never let off the gas.
Yeah, so I always had a drive.
I like it.
I would catch 75 ground balls a day, 50 fly balls a day.
So now tell us really, how much did people really piss in your Cheerios back then? Like, just because of skin color or something? Did people really say stuff back then, or they really kind of didn't care? And because I know it never got to you because you always had that good personality and it never bothered you. But was it back then? Was it more than you did think it was back then, or not really?
Well, it was in your face.
It was.
Yeah,
it still was.
But again,
yeah,
African Americans had their own infrastructure. So the pride was there. So if I walked from the inner city to downtown, and downtown back to the inner city, what I saw downtown, I saw in the inner city. So it was proudful that African Americans owned their own businesses, had their own casinos, had their own nightclubs, had their own restaurants.
Wow.
Forced to do it.
Wow.
Forced.
So do you remember the rollover around the time where Sammy Davis was allowed to just go into any casino at any time, or was that before your time?
Well, he stayed in the black community.
All right.
He lived.
Until what time?
I'm guessing he lived in the black community probably to Frank got him in, I'm guessing late 50s, early 60s.
Wow. So when this car was born in 1959, they still had that.
Oh,
that's crazy.
But
that's crazy.
Keep in mind,
that's crazy.
Keep in mind, it was a small community.
Yeah.
Everybody was close knit.
Yep.
Everybody looked after everybody.
Yep.
And then African Americans were service workers.
Uh-huh.
So the money was there available for service workers. You see, bellmans, porters, cooks, fry cooks, sous chefs, utility porters, maids, bellman.
Yeah.
So some, but again, so the opportunity was there.
Yeah.
And that was through the culinary union.
Wow. Now I was so fortunate.
Joe Miles. Nobody even heard of Joe Miles. He ran the culinary.
You know what Ricky did for me? Ricky invited me to Caesar's 50th, and I met a black dealer and a white bellman that are still at Caesar's Palace from day one in 1965. Right, Ricky?
God bless his soul, Jimmy Dunbar, he passed away.
That was the white Bellman.
Yeah, Bellman. The other gentleman still working at Caesars, Benny Figgins. He's still there at Caesars.
Wow.
55 years. We're going to have a huge, I'm not going to announce it now, but 55 years. 55 years, yeah.
Now there was a magician, now that we brought up Caesar, I have to mention Jimmy Grippo. Look up Jimmy Grippo on YouTube, and he's one of the best card men in the world. And Jimmy came out of Florida, and he did magic in the Bacchanal inside Caesars.
Bacchanal.
Yeah, and he used to do name any card, and he'd pull any card out of his jacket.
Right.
And he used to just blow people's mind. He was commonly leaving the restaurant with $1,000 in cash almost every night at the Bacchanal.
Wow.
And Jimmy, he was known as one of the best sleight of hand artists in the world. And when he hit Caesars, he was 60-some years old when he started at Caesars. So he came from Florida already retired, and he worked Caesars, I think, until 1991. And I think Jimmy died, in 91, and he lived, I think, 90 years old or something.
Well, the Bacchanal Room at Caesars was the premier hangout, for the high rollers.
Wow.
For the wise guys.
Yeah.
For the money was just flowing so it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. When I got into business in '77, when I began to learn the ins and outs of how to stay in the business, because it's very, very difficult on the casino side to deal with the tough guys.
Oh yeah.
The wise guys.
Yeah.
And the wise guys were always wanting to know if they could force you to, when they ran out of cash, to give them something.
Yikes.
A lot of guys who thought they could play and beat minions, but at the end of the day, they lost.
Oh yeah.
So it was always somebody asking for a favor. A favor for a favor. So again, Vegas is just the. I've been all over the world,
Yeah.
but this place, just no other place matches this.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Yeah. When I went to Monaco, I couldn't wait to go in
Yeah.
to see what the casino was like.
Monty.
Everybody was talking about how it's one of the greatest casinos. It doesn't come close to Vegas.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Yeah, here we are pulling up to the Las Vegas Strip.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
AKA the Boulevard. That's the nickname.
They renamed the Sahara. How you like that? They went back to the original name.
The nostalgia lives so deep. That's the way it stays.
Sonny Charles and the Checkmates at the Sahara. Unbelievable. 1964. Wow. Unbelievable. My dad was driving a bus down here, dropping people off.
Wow.
Yeah. Tourists, workers. Unbelievable. I mean, he was just a great impact on this community. And now here we are, 2021.
Yep.
And trying to figure out what's ahead. We got some challenges.
Yeah.
A lot of challenges.
But it's going to be exciting.
Yeah. All the reconstruction now, all the streets are being redone, all the landscaping on Las Vegas Boulevard, and it's going to be interesting to see how all this comes together. We've had some record quarters, even during
The shutdown?
Come back and get record quarters, and I'm excited about just sharing it on a monthly basis.
Now, Ricky, you was saying something about starting a new, somewhat of a media element, because now Ricky's so experienced. What were you getting ready to start?
Well, I want to bring back some rich history, and also some encouragement to the African American community.
I love that.
That there's a rebirth in the process.
Yep.
And a part of that is benefiting from the 20 million tourists that are visiting downtown, which is less than 10 minutes away from the inner city.
And speaking of it, we're headed down now.
Yeah. So as we head downtown, I think it's important that we revitalize the inner city, talk to some of the older folks, find out what their journey was. You know, I'll have some of the older seniors on YouTube talking with them about their experience, what it was like to break the color barrier on the strip, what it was like to have the community's own infrastructure, its own business corridor adjacent to downtown, and how we could come back in and do something that could really pinpoint the history, keep that deep history in the Black community. Yeah,
I love it. I love it, Ricky. Yeah, I tell you what, and I mean, this city's changed so much. I've been here just a little flash, 10 years.
Yeah,
that's
10
it.
years, yeah.
Just a resilient kid.
Right.
Came out here. I was just trying to get my you-know-what wet. I tell people the truth. And came out and did more than that.
Well, Eben, you've done a great job here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this town has a lot of hurdles.
Yeah. And what kept me out of it was I never had bad habits when I came. And that's why Ricky is so successful too. We never were smokers, drinkers.
Yeah, we just don't have any bad habits.
Yeah, we never had the bad habits.
Nice couple shots of cognac back in the day when it was 50 cents a shot.
Yeah, and you know, I've always, but I've never had an addicted personality. And you know, I tell people the truth.
Yeah.
I usually say to people I don't gamble, but I'd be lying. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
I've definitely gambled here and there, but I've never been the addicted personality for it to get me. That's the thing. To me, there's no emotion to gambling. I could lose $10, whatever. It doesn't even bother me.
Right.
But someone that's got an ego, and one of the sayings, which I love, is the definition of a real gambler. It's a man that picks his own pockets. That's the definition of a gambler, and it really is true. And
yeah, well, you know, yeah, it is true, and you know, I'd have to agree that if the mob didn't give me the right words, like, because I was at a young age, I was in a suit and tie at a young age.
Yeah.
So my image was always important. So when I got off at the Fremont, nobody would ever see me at the Horseshoe in action.
Got it.
See, I just didn't want to portray myself because, you know, I was responsible for employees.
Yep.
You know, so I didn't want an employee to see me engaged in an activity, and if they had an issue with it, they could come to me and I could give them some advice. But if they saw me in action, you know, I couldn't steer them away from it.
It's true.
So, you know, I was fortunate enough to be in a suit and tie at a young age. I mean, you know, and I was able to, friends and colleagues, you know, who would come by to say hello, how you doing? You know, here's a buffet, here's a ticket, go have some dinner. Back in the day when you could just do that, you know, you could just freely, you know, take care of people, you know. So, thank you to Mr. Al Sachs. God bless him and his family.
Yeah.
He was a great man. He ran the Stardust. He ran the Fremont. He ran several casinos here in town. And you know, again, I never liked to use mob in context to him. But when you look at the history of Las Vegas and who the guys were that were running Vegas, there were some key figures out there who were doing it, and he was one of them. You know, and you know, I wasn't intimidated when I met him. He could see that, and so it was okay. We're gonna put you to work. We're gonna groom you. We're gonna give you an opportunity. You know, you grew up. You kept your nose clean. You were a good athlete. You know, you would represent the company real well. So I stuck to that. I was firm with that. Here I am, 45 years later in the industry, and as I retire, I want to share this. My experience as we drive down Las Vegas Boulevard right now, downtown.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just a great morning to sit back and cruise You know, and even we should cruise and do this
Oh, yeah.
more often, and just video and talk.
Yeah, and to me, you know, aside from anything that I do, to me it's all the relationships. And out of all my friends here in town, which I have a good amount, I'm actually very fortunate. I could probably count, I would say probably 5 friends that would they'd pick me up if I was drunk or something, or I needed to get picked up. They would I don't drink, but I'm just saying, they would pick me up and they wouldn't hassle about it. And I really am that lucky that I have good friends like that. And to have Ricky a part of that with all his experience is so cool.
We'll ride down, you know, we'll take over the next month or so, we'll ride down the strip. We'll talk a little bit more about the other end of the strip, going down toward the Mandalay Bay, you know, and just spending some quality time about, you know, what my thoughts are for the future of the industry. You know, I mean, you just have some new properties come online. You know, you got a lot of projects that are being completed, and you know, as they do this infrastructure, which we're dealing with now, and the streets and the curbs and the landscaping, you know, Vegas is on the road to a great rebound. So, Eben, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah. So we can keep rolling if you want. We'll roll Fremont. We good on time?
We're not good on time.
All right, we're pretty much done. All right.
We'll
head back.
Reconvene.
All right.
We'll take some time and we'll this 59 Cadillac is just a great experience. Beautiful car.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with this car? It's
gonna get sold.
Right.
We're gonna sell her, and she's available. So she played hard to get in the beginning, but now it was a little cat and mouse.
Right.
I mean, you know, no one got eaten, but definitely was a learning experience for me, and you know, it's beyond my temperament. So everyone has a different temperament, and they have a certain level of patience. And I mean, the car runs great. I mean, it'll screech the tires. I'll give a little screech.
Yeah.
I mean, it has power, but it's just not one of those cars that I want to take on the task of starting to do motor work and getting it just right. And
I like this is a nice experience. As we do more videoing and talk about Las Vegas, and, and you're doing a great job. Even, I mean, I'm proud of you. You know, you come to Vegas and you know, you have no boundaries. You know how to navigate the city. You've done well in your business. I mean, you know, you've kept a positive attitude. You know, you stayed away from the element.
It never got me.
You know, never got you.
I never fell victim to
That's great.
a lot of peer pressure. A lot of people, they always say, well, Eben, you ought to be doing this. You ought to be doing that. And, you know, you really should have a family. Or, you know, you should really have some of my liquor. Or smoke this joint that I rolled for you. And I never did stuff because other people wanted me to.
Well, you know, focused. Focused. You know, in Vegas, if you become focused, it's one of the greatest cities in the world.
I truly, I believe it's the #1 city.
I mean, you know, there are a lot of places that has its own way of introducing you. You know, I've been all over. Again, I've seen a lot of cities, and you know, this one is. I mean, the weather is perfect. I mean, that's what I like about it. You know, I mean, you know, it gets a little chilly. You know, around December and January. But other than that, you know, it's just a town where everybody's casual. You know, we're becoming more of an art city. You know, we're becoming, naturally, we're as we become a sports town. Even more.
Raiders,
You know, it's opening up the doors to a lot of people moving here. You know, and wanting to experience what Vegas has to offer. You know, and so as we move around in the 59 Cadillac and shoot these episodes, I'm gonna call it, we shoot episodes.
Definitely.
The next one we'll go to the inner city.
That's what we'll do. I like it.
I don't think you've been there even.
I've been down on D Street a little bit, but I haven't went to certain nooks and crannies yet.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see.
I'm the guy to show you the nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, I want you to visualize a booming economy in the 60s.
Yeah.
In West Las Vegas.
Wow.
Inner city. Booming economy.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I want to work on that with city, county, state representatives.
I like it.
To bring it back. 20 million tourists within 10 minutes. Imagine that. Even
the numbers are unbelievable.
The numbers are unbelievable. How that can be marketed and bring it back to where people can sell goods and services.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So our next episode, 59 Cadillac.
Yep.
And
well, Pete's Coffee.
Pete's Coffee. I think it's the best in Las Vegas.
I love it. Yeah.
But that's my opinion. Thank God for my wife.
Oh yeah, Ricky was
wow, unbelievable.
So fortunate. This beautiful family Ricky has.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So you met your wife where again?
We met right before high school. Right.
And you were never had another
42 years. We've been married 42 years, and we just I mean it's so beautiful because you have to in Las Vegas, you have to know where you're going in order to get there.
Big time.
So it's important to have key people in your life, and for those who choose to, it could be a great place to grow up and have family and enjoy the mountains. Look at the mountains. Most people don't even know how to appreciate mountains. I mean, we're in a valley. We're surrounded by mountains. We don't have snow caps, but but at least we have a beautiful scenery with Red Rock and the Valley of Fire and Lee Canyon and Lake Mead, and during the wintertime, snow is 50 minutes away. Most people don't know that. 50 minutes away is Lee Canyon.
Gorgeous.
Some of the biggest peaks in the So we got hot, cold, medium, warm. We got it all here.
And all the action you could ever want.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want action, you come here and you'll get what you ask for. Ricky, he ran a poker room here for how many years?
Oh wow, long time.
And where was it at? Where you ran the poker room?
Fremont. Yeah, some of the biggest poker players in the history of Gabe Kaplan, Amarillo Slim, Doyle Brunson. Some of the biggest poker players that ever lived. Imagine that. The ceiling was 12 feet high ceiling, and everybody smoked cigars. Imagine it. Unbelievable.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
Speaking of smoking, we're in the Cadillac. And what do you got right here? A cigarette lighter. Right here. And what do you got over there? In the back, a cigarette lighter in the back corner. And what do you got over there? Another cigarette lighter.
Yeah.
And what do you got at Ricky's right hand? Another cigarette lighter. So 4 cigarette lighters.
59, everybody smoked. Yeah. Majority of people,
Yeah.
It was fashionable, well, this is a good, I don't want to call this a rough interview.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
Oh, it's just the beginning.
I think as we cruise the strip, cruise the inner city, cruise downtown.
And Ricky is headed to work today. So Ricky's still active.
Yeah, I'm still active, enjoying everything that comes with this. It's you meet people for life. You meet people that's in your life forever.
Yep.
And that you meet in the industry.
Yeah.
You know, you meet some really good friends. You know, and as people come in and go, and they, you know, you build relationships with people. It's just no industry in the world can you expect to see a guy who's coming in annually every year. You see him. You know what I mean? How you doing, Rick? How's your family? How's the business?
Yeah.
You know, what's going on? You know. So yeah, we'll walk the strip a little bit too. We'll interact with tourists. We'll allow you know, some of your phenomenal card tricks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll have fun with some of the tourists, and we'll offer you know, we'll offer some fringe benefits to them.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, we'll give them some trivia questions.
Sure.
See if they can answer them. If they can, we'll give them,
Yeah.
you know, a dinner for two, or we'll give them
Yeah.
an overnight stay, or we'll give them, yeah.
So definitely check out Ricky's channel. Hey, and if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. Go right on ahead and tap the subscribe button right here. Little notification bell. You'll tap that, and then you're gonna hit all notifications. So you're gonna tap this, and you're gonna see none personalized all. You wanna tap all, and that way you'll get a notification every time I publish a new video. That way you can leave a comment on any of my videos within the first 3 hours, and I randomly select people for the end of month giveaway. We give $100 gift cards away, all kinds of stuff. So we'll see you at the last Saturday of the month at the giveaway. All right, so check out Ricky's channel right here.
Right.
This is my YouTube channel here.
Yeah.
You can check out all about 30 videos on the 59 Kitty Cat, from the coolant, the motor oil, transmission fluid, brake fluid, power steering fluid. We changed every fluid on this car. When I got this car, it would not spin the tires on a gravel driveway. It'll now spin the tires on blacktop.
Wow.
That's how old this car was, with all kinds of carbon in it. So definitely check out that playlist. And Ricky, you're the best.
Don't forget,
Yes.
you gotta tell them about your oil.
Yeah.
About your oil.
The AMSOIL.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
AMSOIL.
check it out below. You'll see all the information on it. If you want to
Absolutely.
try the products, reach out to me, call or text me anytime. I'm a professional YouLubher you can actually call. So I'm not one of these guys that hides behind stuff. I'm right there for you. So I'll always be there. All my info's down below in the description section. If you're on a smartphone, click the reverse down arrow. If you're on a desktop, laptop, click show more. You'll see it all down there. And Ricky, hey, good.
Ricky Towers.
You're the best, Ricky.
Check
You're
it
the
out.
best.
Thank you.
We'll see you back next time right here on Synthetic Oil Protection. Cheers to protection, protection, protection.
Enjoy Las Vegas.